sit in last place in the National League East. They're 7.5 games out of first. The Philadelphia Phillies visited the Redbirds in the Gateway City. The Phillies came away with the win. The final was 3-0. At the moment, the Cardinals are in second place in the NL Central, 1 game out of first. The Phillies are in second place in the NL East, 3 games back. The Washington Nationals matched up against the Metropolitans in the Big Apple, and it was the Nationals who came out on top. The final was 5-4. Bryce Harper had a historic day at the plate as he hit for the cycle. His modest hitting streak was also extended to 5 straight games. Right now, the Mets sit in first place in the National League East division. They have a 3-game cushion. The Nationals are second in the division, 3 games back. The Toronto Blue Jays paid visit to the Tribe in Cleveland, and it was the Tribe who came away victorious. The final was 7-4. Looking at the standings, the Indians are in first place in the AL Central. They are enjoying a 5.5 game advantage. The Blue Jays are in third place in the AL East. They're Good morning, baseball fans. Great Sunday action lies ahead, but first, here's what happened in Major League Baseball on Saturday. In the National League Central, the Brewers were in Chicago to take on the Cubs, and Milwaukee was victorious in this one, the final 6-4. In other Brewers news, free agent Francisco Rodriguez has agreed to terms on a 1-year deal with the organization. The Cincinnati Reds paid visit to the ATL to take on the Braves. Good Thursday morning to you, Show Nation. Let's jump right into Wednesday's baseball action. Looking first at the NL Central, the San Francisco Giants took on the Brew Crew in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and it was the Brewers who came out on top. The score was 6-5. The Washington Nationals were visiting the Cubbies at Wrigley Field in Chicago, and Washington was the winner. The score was 5-1. Jordan Zimmerman earned the victory on the hill, tossing a complete game gem. The Rockies were in Cincinnati to take on the Reds, and Colorado grabbed the win in this one. The score was 5-1. Kyle Kendrick was dominant on the bump, grabbing the victory with a complete game effort. The Marlins paid visit to PNC Park where they took on the hometown Pirates, and it was the Pirates who came away victorious. The final was 5-4. Jared Hughes grabbed the win in relief, his 5th on the year. The Arizona Diamondbacks paid visit to the Midwest to take on the Cardinals at Busch Stadium, and the Diamondbacks came away with the win. The final score was 13-1. Josh Colmenter gave the bullpen a day off, turning in a complete game effort in the win. The Philadelphia Phillies were in Flushing, New York to take on the Mets, and the Phillies came away with the W. The final score was 3-2. Dominic Brown had a huge day offensively, collecting 3 hits and driving in 3. He extended his hitting streak to a modest 6 straight games. The Atlanta Braves matched up against the Dodgers at Chavez Ravine, and the Dodgers collected the W. The score was 4-1. Hyunjin Ryu earned the victory on the hill, tossing a complete game gem. He is among the leaders in complete games pitched in the NL. The Royals were in the Big Apple to play the Yankees, and it was the Yanks who came away victorious. Final score was 4-2. The Mariners were in St. Pete to take on the Tampa Bay Rays, and it was the Mariners who came out on top. The score was 2-1. The White Sox were in Toronto to take on the Blue Jays, and it was the Blue Jays who stole the walk-off win in extra innings. The final was 5-4. Jose Reyes had a huge day offensively, collecting 3 hits and driving in 3. Marco Estrada earned the victory on the mound, his first of the season. The Houston Astros paid visit to Charm City to take on the O's, and the Orioles cruised to the win, 15-6. Steve Pearce led the charge offensively with 3 knocks in the contest. He is among the American League leaders in home runs. The Rangers paid visit to the rock and roll capital of the world to match up against the Indians. Texas was the winner. The final score was 10-4. Mitch Moreland showed off his power, blasting 2 home runs and picking up 3 RBIs in the process. The Red Sox matched up against the Minnesota Twins at Target Field, and the Twins easily disposed of the opposition 6-0. Irvin Santana twirled a dominating complete game shutout on the mound for the victory. He is among the leaders in complete games pitched in the AL. The San Diego Padres visited Angels Stadium in Anaheim to take on the Halos, and it was the Padres who came out on top. The final score was 3-2. Tyson Ross started and pitched well enough to earn his 6th victory of the season. The Detroit Tigers visited the Athletics in Oakland, and the Tigers coasted their way to the win 14-5. J.D. Martinez had an incredible day at the plate with 8 runs batted in. Thanks for tuning in today. We'll be back here tomorrow and all season long. Happy Friday, baseball fans. Before the weekend series get underway, here are the highlights from Thursday's action. Starting in the National League West, the Pittsburgh Pirates took on the Padres in America's finest city, and the Padres came away with the win, the final 7-3. Matt Kemp picked up 5 RBIs and really made the difference in this one. He is currently among the NL leaders in runs batted in. Heading into today, the Padres sit in first place in the National League West division. They have a 3-game cushion. The Braves were in the City by the Bay to take on the Giants, and the Giants came away with the win. The score was 2-1. As of today, the Giants sit in second place in the National League West division, 3 games back. The Braves are in last place in the NL East, 9 games back. The Tigers were in Anaheim to take on the Angels, and it was the Halos who prevailed, the final 4-3. At the moment, the Angels are in 4th place in the AL West, 6 games out of first. The Tigers sit in last place in the American League Central Division, 13 games out. The Yankees paid visit to the East Bay to do battle with the Athletics, and it was the Yankees who came out on top. The score was 6-5. Right now, the A's are leading the AL West, 4 games up. The Yankees are in first place in the AL East. They hold a comfortable 5-game advantage. The Cleveland Indians were in Seattle to take on the Mariners. Seattle was victorious, 8-3. Logan Morrison was a force at the plate, driving in 3 runs. Taijuan Walker pitched well enough to earn his first victory of the year. Looking at the standings, the Mariners are in last place in the AL West, 12.5 games back. The Indians are sitting atop the AL Central. They hold a comfortable 8-game advantage. The Boston Red Sox paid visit to North Texas to match up against the Rangers. And on the road, the Rangers stole the extra innings win. The final was 1-0. Heading into today, the Rangers sit in first place in the American League West Division, 4 games up. The Red Sox are in second place in the AL East, 5 games back. And that'll do it for today. Enjoy the games, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.